yeah, I'm now very pleased to hand you over to Carolyn of Wordtonic and then Saffron of Intermelanin before we get into the panel to introduce each of their communities. So yeah, Carolyn, please take the floor.
Oh, okay. Do I have a clicker or do I just... Okay, it's this, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah, I always find the first part really awkward. I've also been awake since like 4 a.m. like 3 nights in a row, but it's good. I flew on Monday to do an event with TUI in London, and I was supposed to be there like at 8 p.m. the following day, but my flight got delayed by like 6 hours. That's why there. But yeah, I'm going to be talking about the power of community. I run a community of Gen Z copywriters called Wordtonic. And just the thing on the cunty thing, like I know some people think cunt means a bad word. I guess there's one version of cunt and then the other version. For me, it just means being like totally yourself and weird, and my community is all about that, where we take learning really seriously, but we're like super sweary and kind of dumb, and I like that, so yeah. But I thought it was probably a good idea to tell you a bit about myself. Obviously I'm a freak. I'm 25, and yeah, I threw my cat out the window when I was 7. Yeah, I thought she could fly, just thought, you eat her out the window. I feel like we all do stuff like that, maybe, I don't know when we're kids, like squeezing a hamster, or something like that. But yeah, on a more normal note, but I'm going to tell you about my journey into copywriting, because it's what kind of inspired me to start Wordtonic. So I started copywriting when I was like 17. I was doing like blogs, social media captions for fun for this local business I knew. But I didn't know that what I was doing was actually a job. It was just like some random bullshit, whatever. And at school, no one told me that copywriting ever existed. It was like, you can become a teacher, publisher, journalist, or author. There was nothing else, or you just get a real job. And then I was like, okay, well, I don't know what I'm doing with my life, so I'm gonna go to uni to kill time, because that's what everyone does. I went first to study business, because the guy on a date told me to. He was also like 50, so I went through like a bit of a DILF stage there. Realized that that's not normal. Actually, I don't really care, but yeah, quit that. And then went back a second time to study English, again, because it's the only thing I'm good at. I just didn't like it, like analyzing why a door's blue and stuff like that. But the real reason, I just couldn't afford it. Like, I didn't get help from the government. I mean, my dad's a postman. My mom was a nanny. We were never like poor or whatever, but it was always like a problem with looking in the bank account. Like McDonald's was the monthly treat. And they were both alcoholics, and yeah, so it was kind of hard juggling both of that, and they were asking for money a lot of the time, so I was like, I need to drop out. But luckily, within the last couple months of making that decision, found out about freelance copywriting. I'm sorry, I don't know why it's like breathy, but yeah. Found out about freelance copywriting, and I was like, this sounds super creative, super fun. Kind of been doing it my whole life anyway, so dropped out. I think that's the greatest decision ever, to drop out of uni. I love it. And yeah, now it's been like 8 years, and yeah, that's how I became a copywriter. But it was kind of like on that journey of becoming a copywriter that I realized there was like no spaces for young people to learn about the craft, or like Gen Z copywriters to connect with other people their own age. Or maybe there was, but I couldn't find one that I liked. A lot of the spaces out there were very like old guy in a suit type thing. And like I said, I like freaky, weird things. So thought, okay, create my own thing. Started as a newsletter, just giving tips and advice. Then I had like 1 subscriber, then 10, then 15,000. And I thought, cool. This is really fun, I want to do it more. And then I thought, the only way I'm going to do that is by introducing like a payment model. So now people pay to be part of it. And it's a community, so we do like master classes with different brands every week, Marvel, Nat Geo. We give them briefs, AI stuff like workshops, and also live challenges with brands. So we just did one with Canva, and we're doing one with TUI now. And now we have 2,500 members all over the world, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you realize they're paying to be part of something, it means something. So yeah, yeah. But I thought, you probably care more about like lessons I've learned along the way. Yeah, I eat kids. And I think one of my big ones is just having a mission. So especially as a business, it's not just a community, but it's also a business. So there's so many opportunities that pop up. along the way, and I have to figure out, does this align with the values, or is it just a waste of time? And so for me, one of my big missions is obviously, creating a space for young copywriters to learn and upskill. But also, like I said, I'm a freak. I want to show young people in my community that they don't have to like cater to society's expectations of being like professional. And yeah, that is me licking a toilet. It was on a live copywriting event with like 100 people, and someone just said lick a toilet. I think it was a hate comment, but I just did it anyway, and I don't really care. And everyone loved it. But yeah, and we also just did an event, like I said, on Monday with TUI. I said to them, if you don't let me be myself, I'm not going to do it. Dolphins came out. Lots of other weird stuff happened, and everyone who came, they were all young, and they said this has made me feel a lot less like scared about starting in the creative industry, because it's weird, like you feel like you can do it as well. And like obviously it's not for everyone. I've lost people along the way, and like a mentor and stuff like that, which is sad, but now I don't care. And because it's brought the right kind of people to me as well. And like even I get like DMs from lots of creative directors sometimes just saying really weird things like, I'm a woman and no, I'm a dad of 2 women in their 20s. You're weird and you're leading women astray, and what else? Yeah, the hint of the sexual reference is deeply inappropriate. It's like, you're not my dad, but I don't care. But yeah, and for me it's not about in Wordtonic being like, okay, you have to swear and say bitch and stuff like that. That's just me, so I lead by example. It's about them being themselves. And I think a lot of people forget that in the creative industry in general, it's a little bit inaccessible. Like, you're not told about it at school a lot of the time. And then when you kind of fall into it, or you stumble upon it on LinkedIn, it can feel really corporate and a little bit like So I feel like Wordtonic being crazy and weird, it kind of lowers that barrier. People see it, it's not so serious. They can give it a go as well. But yeah, and I think another big lesson I had was it's not all about you. I'll be honest, like at the start, creating something when people are also paying you, there was a part of me at some point where I was like, okay, have a little bit of influence, that feels nice. And I always wanted to insert myself in things in the community, and it's like, well, if I like it, they're gonna like it, which is not the right way to go about it. And there was one incident, call it the hoodie incident. I was creating merch through the community, and I wanted everyone to get the brand colors. Obviously, some people wanted purple and pink. There's like 2,500 people, and that really pissed me off. But then I realized, like, it's not about me, and the great thing about community is that there's different styles, personalities, and I feel like when you put too strict of a thing on it, it loses its charm. And I feel like that ties in nicely to the next one, which is like creating a culture of autonomy. Obviously, I might have created the community, but I'm not like a god or anything. And like I said, I've stopped inserting myself, and I just love handing the baton to other members to kind of lead and do things. And it's just nice because then they feel like they're part of the decision-making process, and they're actually creating things without me. It's like a whole other world. And a nice example of that was, we have a Discord. That's where everything happens. It's really big. And someone in the community came up to me and said, oh, I'm neurodivergent, love the space, but it's a lot. Like, can you create like a support thing for neurospicy people? And I was like, well, I'm not neurospicy, so I would actually like you to do that. Here's the resources, here's the tools, go and do it. You don't need my approval, just do it. I trust you. And they did it, and now there's like 1,000 people in there. So, and that's creating the more opportunities. So I love handing like the baton over. And another one, personalization. I feel like, when you were younger, you'd get an annual or a magazine. It's like, oh, my favorite color is blue. My favorite number is this. I don't know if we're like just all narcs, but it's nice to fill in stuff about yourself. So I thought I'll bring that into the community. Created like an automated bot where people can select roles like pronouns or their country. It's nice to them because it makes them feel seen, and I don't know, I've always liked personalizing stuff. But for us, it also makes it easier in terms of like accessibility when we have brands, because we're such a big community now. A lot of brands do reach out to us and they're like, hey, we have this opportunity, but it's specifically for this group of people or whatever. And then we can tag those roles. Okay, they might be American or they might be women of color or whatever. And then we can reach those people specifically, which I think is really helpful. And then, yeah, finally, like, have a vision for the future. I think that's similar to having a mission, but especially when it's a business model, it's good to have some kind of plan. Like, probably for me, at some point, there'll be an exit strategy and selling it at some point, but not right now. and I like to kind of cut it between personal and community. I have like monetary goals of like revenue, but my community won't care about that, right? Unless I tell them like it's going to help with this and that. So my two big goals for the future are future-proofing with, not against AI. Not really. I'm not worried about it. I think it's a great tool. And as Gen Z, we're the next, leaders. We need to learn how to use it. I feel like it's my responsibility to kind of give them the tools to that. So we do the AI workshops and stuff like that, and we're going to continue to do that. And then another really big one for me is just at some point, Gen Z's not going to be cool forever, right? We'll always be Gen Z, so there'll always be a space for us in Wordtonic, but I want to create like a version of the community for Gen Alpha and kind of hand the baton down to someone to be the face of that. And I think that's a good thing because then it keeps copywriting alive, to the next generation, and it's important and all those things. So yeah, I'm gonna shut up now. You can connect, if you want to see weird shit, you can go on Instagram, at the Wordtonic. And I'm also just like an open door right now doing everything and anything, so there's my email. But yeah, that's it. It's not going.